When we do something for somebody, keeping their best interest in mind, the question you have to ask yourself, A, have they asked for it? Or do you think it's in their best interest and therefore you've taken it upon yourself to give it to the other person and tell them, look, you should do this because this is good for you. But have they asked for it? A while back I shared this little anecdote with you. This monk got late for the morning prayers and his master asked him, where were you all, 6 of you? Why are you late today? He said, Master, you told us to help people. So as we were coming here, there was this old lady by the roadside. Poor lady, old, and she was waiting to cross the road, and we helped her cross the road. Or so we thought. And he said, but why did it take you so long? He said, it took half an hour to help her cross the road. Half an hour? One old lady, 6 giant monks. You know, monks are usually. So 6 old ladies, six giant monks and 1 old lady. How come it took you half an hour? Are you just giving an excuse? He said, no, Master, of course I wouldn't dare to give you an excuse. The trouble was she didn't want to cross the road. We had to force her. We were standing there thinking, she's standing on the roadside. She must be wanting to cross the road. But apparently that wasn't the case. Now, when we think something is good for somebody, how do you know? Don't answer that. Okay? How do you know? It's your opinion against theirs. It's not necessarily so that it is actually going to be good for them. But we believe that. And of course, there's different kinds of relationships. We have parent and children. And then you have equal, the friends and professional and so on. The question arises, how can you be so sure that what you think is good for the other person is actually good for them? The problem is we want conformity. We want standardization. We want everybody to behave exactly the way it appeals to the masses and it appeals to us. But that's not how societies flourish. That's not how inventions and innovations and disruptive thoughts, in a good way, are brought into this world. People who go against the current are usually the ones who bring anything useful, who set the tone, the path for future generations. If everybody was to do what we ask them to do, yes, it's convenient if they are going the way you want, but it's not necessarily good. It's not necessarily right. So I think the key point is, it's very important to not take away somebody's freedom of choice. I think that is the equivalent of putting them in a prison. As long as 2 people are respecting each other's freedom of choice, there will be harmony. And talking about 2 people, the other day I was reflecting on this, that, when 2 people get married, usually it's 2 that get married in most cultures of the world. So usually when 2 people get married, a guy is not really looking for a life partner. Based on, if you ask somebody who wishes to get married, what do they want? The list they give is almost like they're looking for a mother. They want somebody to clean the house and make food for them and fix the bed and things like that. It almost seems that guys get married because they have certain needs they need fulfilled. But what do they know who's coming? So So it seems they have a list of needs. When they are thinking of marriage, it's not really that, oh, I'm going to have a family together, we'll spend a lot of quality time together. They are thinking, शुक्र है कल से ये करना नहीं पड़ेगा किचन का काम. खा खा के बाहर ज़ोमैटो और वो सब थक गया हूँ. I'm tired of ordering all that food and now I won't have to. So a guy is looking for a mother, it seems. And if he had a good relationship with his mother, then he's not only looking for a mother, he's almost literally looking for a mother. He's looking for the same qualities in his wife, which is great disservice and injustice to the person he's marrying. Because he already has a mold. And he's trying to thrust his life partner into that mold. And the reverse is also not so wrong. When a girl is looking to get married, she is pretty much looking for her father. She wants to feel secured, she wants to feel sheltered, she wants to be emotionally, financially, physically feel that she's taken care of. She wants to fulfill her dreams with the person she loves. But there is just one key problem with this approach. When a boy is thinking, I'll marry my mother, and a girl is thinking, I'll marry somebody who I will deeply take care of and he will take care of me. Usually the thing that's fundamental in a woman's mind, I will love him so much and he'll love me back much more. That's marriage. As long as that is fulfilled, she'll be happy to cook. She'll be happy to put up with a million transgressions. She may not be happy to do that, but she will do it for you. But it's fundamental to, I don't mean to stereotype, but a woman's psyche or psychology that she's going to love and he's going to love back. But in doing so, as I was telling you, what happens is people end up marrying their parents. There is this patronizing voice that just doesn't leave. A guy treats his wife as if she reports to him and he's the boss. As if she has to seek permission for everything. Can she go out? Can she spend here? Can she spend there? Usually, not always, but mostly. And if she goes her own way, this doesn't sit well with the man. That load of expectations is always saddled on the girl. So he's thinking, I am going to control her. Because as I said to you, the world wants conformity. We think we know what's best for the other person, but you'll be surprised. You don't even know what's best for you. Because the other person knows it better, remember? So they are thinking, the girl is thinking, I will tell him when to get up in the morning, when to go to bed, how much time he can spend on the mobile phone, and which are the friends of his that I like that he can hang out with. He can't just go out anywhere with anybody. I will tell him what to do. And he must eat the kind of food I want to feed him, and so on. But this poses a fundamental problem, although these are shades of love. Mind you, I'm not saying they are wrong. I'm simply saying that if you look at friendship, the anatomy of friendship, what you discover is, how do friends live? Usually. They meet up, they're happy, they don't judge each other, and they let each other do whatever they want to do. What happened in the evolution of human consciousness, or the establishment of society or the society as we know, or just society as we know today, that two people thought, we are so happy on our own, but let's get together and try to be happy and make each other's lives hell, because I need to be together. It would be perfect if both could say, look, we are together for this time, this is our time, we got to do this, when you're away, you are away, you are away. But no, we have to act like parents. And that is what Buddha said a long time back, of course, a long time back, that this monk, a monk entered and he said he's killed his parents. So everybody, please offer your respects to this monk. Naturally, this was as cryptic a sentence as one could utter. And this really baffled everybody. Nevertheless, they did what was asked of them. After this man left, as usual, Ananda sprang up and said, sprang to his feet and said, Tathagat, what was that about? You preach non-violence. And this man has killed his parents and you're saying this was a good thing. He said, you don't get it, do you? There is this patronizing voice in every single being. If others around you are not making you feel guilty, then the inner voice says, don't worry, I'm here. I'll do that job. And somebody inside you is constantly treating you like parents treat a toddler, telling you what you can do, cannot do, what is good, what is bad, what is... You are not allowed to live the way you wish to do. This voice constantly, it's a second voice, or a third, or 300th. It's telling you that you are not good enough. It may be true, but it doesn't have the right to do so. More importantly, you need to know what to not believe. And that comes from reflection, that comes from understanding, that comes from wisdom. Every public place will become an absolute heaven if people stopped expecting from each other. If people said, look, you like it this way, you live it this way. I like it that way, I live that way. But there is so much burden usually in social circles that you have to act the way you are expected to act. Almost you are an automaton. You are, somebody's plugged in a certain kind of energy and you are supposed to behave that way. So the fundamental of relationships, fundamental of long-lasting relationships is to live like friends. And if you live like friends, life is going to be raised. You won't then be able to even hold back and you'll be calling it, let's get together again tonight and this evening and so on, and get drunk. And hopefully not. So, how to be okay with the fact if somebody misunderstands us? There is something quite rudimentary that I wish to share with you when it comes to misunderstanding. It's the absolute building block. And that is, do you mean to say that somebody misunderstands you because they've disagreed with you? Usually what happens, we do something and a set of people or the other person does not agree with us. We say, no, you misunderstand me. Disagreement does not mean misunderstanding. So the two must be separated. Misunderstanding is that you had a different intention, but the outcome that was delivered came out quite different. You thought you were chopping a cucumber, but it turned out it was zucchini. Misunderstanding is when your intention does not match the outcome and you are judged on the outcome, not the intention. And then you say, oh, but I didn't mean to do that. Disagreement is you delivered the outcome exactly as you wished to. And the other person says, no, this is not good. And that's a disagreement. It happened in New York All good things happen in New York. And many bad things also happen there. So this happened in New York. There was this guy. He was an art collector. And he was also a writer. Now this is a rare combination. Because if you are a writer, you can only be a penny collector. You cannot be an art collector. Because you don't really make much as a writer. But this guy was a novelty, a rare exception. So he was an art collector and a writer. Just above his desk, there was the famous painting, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And he would look at it, he would gain inspiration, but every evening, most writers have very set routines, their way of writing, he also did. So every evening he would step out and just go for a stroll. And then come back and start writing. Now, most interestingly, every evening when he would come back, he would see that painting is a little crooked on the wall. Very strange. What happened in his absence? Every day he would fix the painting, every day he would step out, every day he'll come back in, every day he would see the painting is once again a little tilted on the wall. He thought this is, haunted house or something? Then his housekeeper was there. Now, what kind of a writer is this? He has a housekeeper, he's an art collector. The dream kind of writer. So he said to his housekeeper, he said, I think there is something going on in this house. I think it's haunted. Because every day I fix this painting. And every day I come back to find that this is once again slanted. And she says, oh, it's me. I fix the damn thing every single day when you're away. I can't come in this room while you're writing all day. So when you step out, I always think this is a good time because this building, the painter has made it, it's crooked. So I tilt the painting a little to make it straight. Now, this housekeeper, what she is doing, it's perfectly legit in her mind. She is thinking the painter is wrong. She's thinking this writer can't see this simple thing. Every single day he's looking at a building that's tilting to the side. And she's thinking it's my job to fix it. So sometimes we take upon ourselves to fix something when in fact it is already fixed. What we are doing is unfixing it. As I say, don't fix what ain't broken. Don't fix what ain't broke. If something is not broken, you don't have to fix it. You don't have to tinker with something just because it's working. You know how sometimes in a marriage two people are doing just fine and they say, "Bahut din ho gaye, ladai nahi hui." We should kick up some storm now. I mean, this brings us closer. This keeps the joy alive. Because the joy you feel afterwards, it's much more. When everything is restored, the glory and everything is settled, you feel so much love for each other. So it's a fundamental rule of marriage that every few days or every few weeks, you have to enter into an argument to keep it alive. Because remember, you both know what's good for each other. Two people are absolutely certain what's good for the other person. You shouldn't eat butter just because you like it. But you've survived for the last 50 or 60 years, that's not good enough. Now you must change your diet because I'm telling you so. And that is where the core issue is. That love where we take away the freedom of the other person is I wonder if it's love. I think that requires for two people to sit down and figure out what is important to each other. And I think that is absolutely imperative, needed if you want to make something work. So if you are doing something for somebody and you're fixing and then it backfires, do you Did you mean to fix it? Did they ask for it? Why not treat an adult like an adult? If somebody is 18 plus, somebody has attained the legal age, and the government has granted them certain rights to make their choices, the right to vote, the right to select a partner, and so on, and in some states, the right to drink, why do you want to take away those rights from them? What is the joy in forcing somebody to live according to you? Do you really think you can be happy if the other person is not happy? I doubt it. So the point becomes that two people have to find that common ground. Those simple 3 or 4 questions: what do you need from your life? I will see if I can support it. If not, then I will tell you what I need from my life. And when you were not paying attention in the math class, they were doing these sets and subsets, those Venn diagrams and so on. So there's a set A, set B. I feel like I'm Rahul Gandhi for a moment. So, so the point is, there is no point actually. All I'm saying is that if there is that common ground, which is called the subset, if that's there, you have hope. If that's not there, then empty vessels make much noise. That's the state. Two people like bubbles made of lead, they just keep colliding, and there is some damage that's happening, but both are oblivious to the damage they're causing each other. So the only thing I'd say is that take it easy. You figure out your life. Let the other person discover the joy of figuring out their life. It's an exhilarating and a joyous journey. When you discover gradually what appeals to you, what you like, what makes you happy, such a short life, one day we'll all be wiped out from the face of this planet like we never existed. What would you like to take to your deathbed?